Hello and welcome back, everyone, to another empowering episode of Global Desi Women, where we share real conversation, real journeys, and real wisdom. I'm your host, Arti Solanki, a business coach, a real estate broker, and of course, a proud Desi woman. And I'm here today with my amazing co host, Bhawna Luthra, a licensed family and marriage therapist. I always kind of like a pause on that. And Vinoo Palicha, founder of VDesi, an ethnic wear collection where you find amazing outfits. And today we have our guest as Namitha Nayak. There is so many things about Namitha that I want to start out with. She is a powerhouse that keeps building one after another, I could say, nonprofit organizations. And she's just amazing, full of ideas, a lot of energy. And I don't know, I think, Namita, first I want to welcome you and start out with having three boys. How do you have so much energy?
Thank you, Arti. Thank you, Bhavna and Vinoo. Nice to see you all today here virtually and everyone who's listening. I appreciate you having me on your platform. I'm really excited to be here. And thanks for the nice, warm welcome as well. To answer your first question, three boys and how do I stay energized? You were talking about being a proud Desi woman. And, the secret is you name your first child Josh. That's what I did. No choice but to stay energetic because his name is Josh. I'm just kidding. Yes.
And that's where you get all your Josh too. Is he all energetic and all full of Josh as well?
He is. And I still remember the pediatrician who asked me, what does this name mean? Because he said all Indian names seem to have meanings. What does it mean? So I said, it means energy and enthusiasm. And he's like, watch what you're asking for. He's a baby. And then I'm like, yeah, I really want it. And yes, he is a pretty chill, energetic dude, I would say. Years old and he's coming into himself. There are moments of outbursts of energy and there are moments of chill too. And I think it's a good balance.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I want to start back with your first organization you started with, and let's go with that, and then we'll come along the way. But tell us a little bit about the first one that you started in Chicago.
So the first nonprofit I started is called Happy Feet Walkers Club. It is a walking club for women. Now you'll be like, why do we need a walking club for women? And it all started with a conversation I was having with one of my really good friends. She had just returned from an annual physical, and the doctor told her, you know what, diet and all that is good, but to get your, the numbers in good condition, you actually need to get some physical activity. And you can even do something as simple as walking. Then we were talking about, yes, walking is simple, but it can get really boring and just kind of walking by ourselves is hard. We wish we could walk together. So that's how that conversation started. And she lived about half an hour away from where I was at. And we're like, every day is going to be hard. So let's at least walk together once a week and then we'll form the habit, right? And we all know, right? Once you form a habit, then you can do a lot of good things. But forming the habit is hard if you're doing it alone. And then, today as we talk, I think you'll see more of that. Whatever I can do alone, I want to do it with a friend. And whatever I can do with a friend, I want to do with a bunch of people who are all interested. So that's how it started. So we said, like, we're going to go for a walk every Saturday in the morning. Does anybody else want to join us? And then a few other women said, yes, us too. And then before we knew it, 60 women were walking together and the nonprofit was launched. So there's a lot more to that story, but I leave it at that, right? Two women deciding we want to do something. And the next thing we know, a couple of weeks later, we have 60 women walking together in the forest early in the morning on Saturdays. And 10 years later, every Saturday, the group keeps walking in different places. It hasn't stopped.
Wow, that is, oh my God, 60 women walking every week. That is powerful. Absolutely powerful. And this was just done through Facebook.
At that point of time, yes, Facebook was in the picture. I think WhatsApp was probably in the picture as well. It started with a few women who knew each other. And we wanted to formalize, right? You would think, okay, you women can walk together. Why do you need a nonprofit for this, right? But it was really important for us to have structure, because structure gives you an ability to repeat things. And then the first thing we did was we went and designed ourselves a T-shirt. We found ourselves a name. We came up with a mission statement, right? So then there is real meaning to what we're doing, and it means we're serious. We're going to do it, right? Um, and as women here, it's just like giving birth to a baby, right? Once you start thinking you're going to have a baby, it's not happening overnight, but it's not, in those 9 months, you're thinking about a name, you're getting clothes, you're setting up your nursery, you're doing all that, and then you're setting up your commitment for life. But if you just go in and do something today, then maybe tomorrow you don't want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so true. So, what is the mission behind that nonprofit organization?
Yeah, so oftentimes I think we'll all catch ourselves saying, yes, I have to work out, or yes, I have to get healthy, or yes, I want to talk to that person, but I'm so busy. I have work to do. My kids have homework. I have to do X, Y, and Z. My husband has to do this. And every Saturday, my family likes to eat idli. So I have to like cook, it's the innumerable, excuses we have or responsibilities we have. And women, we put ourselves last, right? We put ourselves last. So we talked about how might we change this to put ourselves first at least once a week, right? We prioritize ourselves once a week, first thing on the morning on Saturdays, before the rest of the family and everyone is awake. Can we commit to giving ourselves this time? And then once we do that, we'll motivate ourselves for the rest of the week. Every single day, we walk at least 10,000 steps. Can we find pockets of time to add up that 10,000 steps, but we come together once, right? The intent and the mission and the words we live by, it says it on our t-shirt too: fun, fitness, and friendship, right? Can we have fun doing a simple activity like walking? Can we focus on fitness, doing something simple like walking, where you don't need extra gear, you don't need fancy clothes, you don't need any other tools, you just need yourself and just a decent pair of shoes, and you're out there walking, right? Fun, fitness, and friendship. As we're doing this and as we're walking, we talk to each other, we learn about each other, we learn about nature, we talk about recipes. There's so much more you can foster through this, and this is a time for women. So the organization encourages families to come. We have 5K events where other people come. The club is for women, right? This is this pocket of space for women to come together, to talk about yourself, to support each other in the journey. So that's the mission: empower
It's
women to get out
amazing.
and take care of their health.
Yeah, and it's so fantastic that, with this kind of an environment, they're outdoors and women actually can connect with each other and they can, who knows, become friends. They can, share so many other things like, they can create a business together. Who knows? Like, if you
Yeah, you
connect
never
with
know.
somebody, right? It's all about building the connection with everyone. So this is really amazing. Wow.
Actually like the fact that you created a nonprofit because there have been many occasions when me with some friends, we always talk about, when the weather gets better, we decide, okay, 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m., we'll be there. And we do it for a couple days. And then next morning, it's like snooze. You lose that. But when you have structure, when you have, a commitment, then you make it happen. So that really sounds very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that keeps it going, right, 10 years later, every Saturday, people are still walking, is because the leaders who committed to this feel a responsibility to everyone, that I need to show up so others can come, right? Everybody in the group feels responsible not just for themselves, but for that other person, right? It's like if you're sharing a ride with someone, if they're already in front of your house, even if you feel like making an excuse and saying, hey, I don't want to go today, that your ride is already here. You got to go, right? It's the same way. Like somebody's out there waiting for you to walk with them. You can't let them down. So you walk and, you kind of end up helping each other in that journey.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a like they say that sometimes just a thought of something to do, and once you have this idea and you start, it's about taking that first initial step. It's just like our podcast, I guess I can say, because it was just, initially I thought about the podcast that I wanted to start with this, they see women to empower them and then I was calling Vinoo and I was telling her about it, and I called a couple of other ladies, and I'm like, you know what, let's get started. Let's go for it and let's see what happens. And here we are, the second season and doing our podcast. So
Yeah.
I guess it just takes that initiative of doing something. And like they say, if you want to see the world change, you be the change and then go for it, right?
Exactly.
It's one of those things. What you do is very powerful, absolutely powerful. So you founded PIN. What does that stand for?
So, PIN stands for People's Impact Network. And the thought behind it is when people come together and choose to make a difference, we can make an impact, right? So, that's the reason why the name People's Impact Network was created. I do want to go back to maybe we know what you were saying, right? The genesis or origin for People's Impact Network actually goes back to Happy Feet Walkers Club. So when I walked together with women and I got to know women, all Desi women, most of them, 90% of them were Desi women. And we come from a walk of life where when we meet in social settings, we're probably talking about recipes or maybe movies or maybe children or maybe travel. We don't necessarily talk about our interests and passions, and we probably don't talk about our struggles, right? And challenges. This environment of walking together allowed a different kind of conversation to foster. And through that, and you ladies will find it very interesting, I recognized that women who are small business owners really struggle to break through and get the word out about their business and to stay in business. And the barrier is the connections that they may or may not have, and the funds that they definitely don't have to use towards marketing and stuff that the bigger, more successful organizations have that are more funded. So I created this platform called My Seat at the Table because I'm a product of my environment. Everything that comes around me kind of like starts seeping in and becoming something else. And so I work in the IT space and I'm in strategy and leadership and all of that. So in one of the sessions, something was going on and I wasn't there and some decisions were made and it impacted my team. And I made a passionate call out. I said, how do you think we can be having good outcomes if I don't even have a seat at the table, right? I said that, and around the same time, I was hearing these small business women saying, they were at these expos, they're paying $250 for a table. They have a corner table, nobody shows up at their table, but this big center table that somebody is a fancy designer, they get all the people walking up to them and they're not being able to be successful, right? So I was like, my seat at the table. So we need to give a seat at the table for these women. So I started doing this program called My Seat at the Table. Again, it was not a nonprofit, it was just something I was doing on my own. And what I would do is I would just charge them very nominal, $20 perhaps, get 20 small business women together, get a church location or something, and then use that fund to secure that location. And with whatever was left over, I'd get them a bottle of water or some food or something that makes them feel like, hey, you've come here, you're valued as a business person as well. You're just not seen as a face behind a table, right? You're a human being. So did that and got a lot of businesses, doing much better. Small businesses, we know, like maybe their clothing business or a jewelry business, a home-based cooking, or somebody's doing art. So many people did so good because of that. And this all of this was in Illinois. I moved to Texas and I was brand new here. I did not know a single soul in Texas. And Facebook to the rescue, Desi people to the rescue. There's a group called Dallas Desis, if you don't know about it. It's a huge group with, I think, 40,000 plus people. So I went in there and I posted, hey, you know what? I used to do this kind of stuff. Does anybody do it here so I can join forces with you? And then they said, oh, no, this is not, but, we would like to. And then a bunch of women just kind of popped up from there. And from there, a lot of different things happen, including People's Impact Network. Now, my seat at the table is not, we tried to do it with People's Impact Network, but it went in a different direction. We can talk more about it. But Arti, your question was about People's Impact Network. I just wanted to bring it back that anything that started, it kind of just doesn't start in isolation. It kind of pops up from somewhere else. And then things kind of like a network get connected and, magic happens.
Yeah. But I think you have that magic of getting things moving and shaking, because not everybody has some kind of an idea, but not a lot of times it has such a big an impact. And I feel like you have that energy, you have that capabilities and capacity to do that. So that is what it takes to, I guess I can call you like a fantastic leader, because that's when, only a leader can have all these powers, because it needs somebody, a leader figure, to get people together, get things moving, gets, how it's going to be done, where it's going to be done, and all those things. You need a leader for that. And I think you play a very fantastic role.
And no matter where you move, you're always going to start something
Yeah.
What do
because
I
you have
call
it
it?
in
Like
you.
it's
Yeah.
like a mover and shakers, right? We used
Yes.
to that. You move things and then you shake it up and see what comes out, and there's always a new idea waiting for you. Right, right, right. I
Thank you.
can't wait to hear about this Sari Strong and all that. Can you shed more light on that? Because like Vinoo here is also in the fashion and she
Waiting.
wants to
Absolutely.
and something we all can relate to, the saris and all dressing up and jewelry and all that
Definitely.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
exactly what I was going to ask. That what are you doing over here? I'm definitely interested in hearing about it.
Absolutely. So, People's Impact Network, the mission is to reuse Indian ethnic clothing or South Asian ethnic clothing and to raise funds and to support the community through community programs. So, I've said the mission statement loosely, but it's a very tight mission statement, right? To encourage sustainability of Indian ethnic clothing and to give back to the community. That's the mission. And how we do that is through a couple of different programs. One of the programs is called Sari Strong. It's really popular. So if you go anywhere on Google, and we didn't do anything, it was all organic in terms of how it came up in the searches. You say, where do I donate a sari? Or you put something like that, you'll see Sari Strong come up. And the other program, we call it, is called Sustainable Fashion, which is basically, again, ethnic clothing that is being reused. Salwars, ghagras, men's clothes, all of those things that are not saris, but also ethnic wear. So these are our two big pillars. But the important thing is the heart and the concept behind it. And it's a triple win concept. And I'm like, if we can have multiple wins, then why stop at one? So when we can have three, let's get three. So the three wins here are, there you go. So the first win is we all know either ourselves or someone we know of Desi origin who's been in this country for a couple of years or for many, many years. We've gathered these clothing that we really care and love, and we have the, our heritage connection. And it's been with us for a while, or it's been something new, but it's something that we cannot use anymore for whatever reason, right? So they end up either in the dark closets, and we wonder what to do with it, because nobody really wants to take it back home anymore, because nobody there wants it, right? You have two bags. They want you to bring what, Nike shoes and all of that. They're like, don't bring me your old saris, it's out of fashion, or whatever that might be the case. So we have these clothes and we don't know where to give it. And it's really hard to give it to Goodwill or something, because we're like, they probably don't know what this is and they won't really use it the way it should be. I mean, this is my nani ki sari, or this is like $100 ghagra. We can't, like, we have that feeling. So the first win is we give an avenue for everybody who's holding on to these clothes and wanting to find a place to give it to. We take it, right? And we take it in such a way where we know what to do with it and what it stands for, right? So that's the first win, a place to bring it, not send it to landfills, not have it sit in dark closets. The win number one. The second win is we are trying really hard to normalize ethnic fashion here in this country. Like, I would wear this to Walmart, I would wear this to work, I'd wear this anywhere, be it a salwar or a sari. And it's not a costume. It's not a Halloween outfit. It is just an outfit that we wear. So we're trying to normalize this. And one way to normalize clothing is to make it affordable, right? And something that's reusable. If something is always like $400, $500, I might not be able to wear it all the time, and not everyone can afford it. So we bring affordable clothing by reselling those clothes here in this country. And there are clothes as low as $5 that are really good. There are clothes that are free. We are also having like beautiful beautiful silk saris that are probably, selling for $1,000, selling for a couple of hundred here at the nonprofit. So we make these clothing affordable and available. And I keep encouraging those not of Indian or South Asian ethnicity who are interested in wearing these clothes, that if you wear it with respect and because you like it and love to wear it, that's cultural appreciation, not appropriation. So you're welcome to these clothes, right? So that's the second win, rehoming these clothes at very affordable prices. And the third win, which is, I think, the unique thing that sets People's Impact Network apart from many other peer-to-peer selling platforms which are now available. Right? People's Impact Network is 5 years old, but through my Illinois and social connections I was talking about, I've been doing it for about 8 years now, before the nonprofit was even incorporated. So, but more recently, we've seen a lot of peer-to-peer selling, which is amazing, right? I can sell my sari to you and you can buy it. So it's good. Reuse is happening. But People's Impact Network's third win is what sets it apart, where all of these monies that are coming in is a charity. So all of these monies go back into the local community through grants and through other programs. So we have been giving $50,000 in grants for the last 3 years to many different charities in the form of micro grants. $1,000 to $5,000 is how much the grants are, but it gives the small charity that little leap it needs. Just like small business people just need that little leg up, small charity need that little leg up, and this gives those funds back to them. So now think back the whole circle. If I'm donating something, I know it's going to a good cause. Somebody's going to wear it or use it, and it's either putting food on the table or helping a domestic violence victim or any one of those things. So that's the beauty of it. And I'll pause after I say my really important punchline is where the whole concept is based on give where we live. So all of these three wins are happening here in the United States. And this was really, really, really important to me when I put this nonprofit in place, is that we as a Desi community, right? We're growing, right? Mostly affluent, right? Doing well, gifted, grateful for everything we have. And we do a lot of good work and we give it back to our home countries, right? There's nothing wrong with that. When the dollar goes longer, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also important for us to give back here because we need to blend into the fabric of the American society. We live here, we earn here, our kids go to school here, everything is happening here. And there is need around us, which we need to acknowledge so that we are acknowledged as a community that's giving back as well. So,
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted to ask you, based on your first win, when you said that you accept all clothing yourself, based. So, how do you evaluate what clothing are you accepting? How do you decide what goes to whom, and what exactly do you do with the clothing?
yeah.
yeah, great question, Vinoo. So we accept all kinds of Indian ethnic clothing, right? Saris, salwars, khagras, men's, kids, Indian ethnic clothing. And I touch my heart and say I'm really blessed that the community really responds in a good and respectful way, right? Of all of the thousands of tons and tons of donations we get, it's a very small fraction of clothes that we get that are not usable and that are something that should have been, either put in the trash or, because it's really that bad, or it should have gone somewhere else. So most of the clothes we get are the right kind of clothes. So we get boutiques that have overstock that they give to us, and we have wedding people buy from us or wedding people give to, like, it's anybody. The spectrum is like wide. So to your question, who donates? Everybody donates. Now how do we sort through it? That is where the huge volunteer army comes in. We have two storage locations right now, 10 by 30. So you can think about it like a three-car garage times two, right? Which
Wow.
is full of donations because people ship it to us from all over the country. They come and drop it off. We have drop off spots. So we have just clothing and clothing and clothing. And we have a volunteer army all the way from high school kids to, senior parents who are trying to find something meaningful to do. They come and sort through these clothes and, inspect them and, sort them into different piles, and then so we can rehome them.
Wow. So do you also like go through like cleaning or dry clean them, or it's just like they come in and sold?
Yeah. Yeah, so so all of our clothes that they come in, like I said, I touch my heart. I'm grateful that they're all, and most of the time the clothes we wear here, we keep them in our closet. We take it out, keep them, and we probably wear it a couple of times. Pictures on Facebook, pictures on Instagram. It's done, right? Practically new clothes, but we physically inspect it, and if there are tears or something, we kind of identify that's what it is. But we look to whoever it's rehomed to do the necessary care with it. We recommend, some small businesses that do dry cleaning and stuff from time to time if people are interested, but we rehome them as they come to us.
Yeah, because it's a lot. I mean, like if you start doing that, then you probably need to open a dry cleaner here.
One or two or maybe many.
That is so true. So, and this is all done. Do you have a website or you have a Facebook or how is it done?
Yeah, so we have a website, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram. We're trying to get into TikTok and YouTube and all of that a little bit more as well. But I would say our primary platform is Facebook. That's where it all started, right? I told you, right? At Dallas Desi's, I put it out there. And then we created a Facebook page, and then I created a couple of Facebook groups. But I keep telling my team that we need to find and we also have a shop on the website, right? And we actually have a physical shop in Allen as well, Allen, Texas. But I keep telling my team like we need to find an alternate online platform because Facebook, I don't know how long it's going to be there. I mean, people of our generation, once we're kind of out of there, the next generation go like, what Facebook? No Facebook, right? So then we can't be out of business of reuse because we're out of platforms. So
Yeah.
yes, we're looking into other platforms as well.
I mean, like, I've seen Indian outfits even on Etsy. Like, they're selling it on Etsy too. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, so with Etsy, we actually looked into Etsy and Amazon and some other platforms as well. And if there are, small business women and others who are looking into it, I think they will identify with this. The starting point for like Etsy and others is high. And what I mean by high is not the cost factor of it. Like the number of things you need to get in there accurately so that it might be posted is very complex, right?
Yeah.
When we are
Time consuming for you to do it.
So in a month, we sell about 1,000 individual items. That's a lot of items that are all unique, different, because it'd be easy if I had like one sari, right? That's a type of sari, and I had 10 of them, right? Then I can type it in and I can say, I have 10 of them, two in blue, three in pink. That's easy. But if this one is like this, and that one is like that, and that one is like that, each one needs to be manually entered in unless we find some technology updates that we might have to do, it's not possible to do the Etsy's of the
And I
world.
think it also needs like a couple of pictures along the way. So you need this picture, that picture, close up and far. And
So
And which you
what
have
else?
done, like if somewhere is a tear and stain, they take picture of that area. So whoever is the next buyer, they can really know what they're getting and not whine and complain later. So they're
yeah.
very thorough. Yes. Yeah. So I've
What
been
else besides clothing that you accept, or is it just clothing?
So it's primarily clothing. Every so often, somebody will give us jewelry or Indian handbags or the Indian these kind of thing, or maybe some Indian decorative items. But those are not our core things to resell to race ones. We just maybe would add it to somebody's big shipment. We've done a couple of large packages for weddings. There are moms who did their entire wedding shopping through reused People's Impact Network clothing. So we were able to give them the turban and the shoes and the umbrella and all of that because somebody donated all of this, right? So we put different pieces together and we put a whole package for this one wedding. And when the box reached her, she took a video of it and she was in tears. She was like in tears. I'm like, okay, for a moment, I was like, was something not good that you had to kind of like cry? And what this was is if I was back home in India, my mother would have put together a package like this and sent it to me. And here I don't have her. And the Sisterhood of Pin has sent me this package with a lot of things besides the saris and the gagras that I wanted and made me feel like, I got this package from my Micah and that's got her emotional. And I'm like, wow, these are the kind of things that makes it feel like, all of it is worth it. All of the hour time you put into it is worth it.
Wow.
Question. So 5 years since it's been a formal nonprofit, 8 years if I think about how long my baby's been around, right? So right now, since this year, I'm the chair of the advisory board and there's a committee. So that's my new role. But in terms of how I did and what I feel about it, I think it's really important for us to take a moment to, let that sink in, right? I always believed that any nonprofit, unlike a for profit organization, right, which is yours, a nonprofit, as you launch a nonprofit, you're not building it for yourself. You're building it for a mission and for a purpose, right? And it's really important for the founding president to have a frame of reference in their mind that says, when I meet one to whatever your yardsticks are, when these are met, I'm going to step down and let somebody else take the helm, right? If you don't do that, if a founding president does not do that, then what happens is the nonprofit is then limited by the vision and the capability of that individual. And that's not what nonprofits are supposed to be. It's supposed to have a strong mission, and the vision should continue to grow and expand and change, right? And not be limited by a person. And then people start getting deferential. Oh, she's the president. Let's just listen to her. She's the founder. Let's listen to her, right? So I knew that from get go. I knew it. And for me, the two metrics that I wanted to pass is one is I wanted the nonprofit to be standing in its own legs in such a solid way that regardless of who is running this nonprofit now, it can only get from here on out to better, or where it's at is good enough that if it continues to be the same exact thing and doesn't even grow, it is still adding value, right? So that was the metric number one. The second metric is I wanted to find a leader or a bunch of leaders who I felt are committed enough to the mission and who have their heart in the right place, who can take this nonprofit forward, right? When those two things are met, I'm like, I'm going to pass it on. And again, grateful. I feel the universe conspires to make things happen. Yes, we're all leader makers. We're all, we all bring people together, but there is something that's outside of our control that happens as well. And that's what I think came together. Ranjini Nanjia, who's the now president of People's Impact Network, she's been with the nonprofit for a couple of years now. Her heart is in the right place. She is totally committed to the mission of PIN. She's an amazing leader, very different leadership style from me, but a very committed, mission driven individual and a very good leader. So I found her, and in 5 years, we've been giving grants. $50,000 in grants 3 years in a row. We've got significant amount in our savings so that we can go to our next level. We have a very dedicated team of volunteers. We have some contractors who we can rely on to get the work done. And the name of People's Impact Network, Sari Strong Sustainable Fashion, is out there in the world and it's etched in stone, right? So I'm like, okay, now is the time. So therefore, pass it on. Yeah.
So one thing I remember talking to you when last week when we decided on today, you said something about when you're just saying passing it on, how as a woman, we can be like, it's mine, but like a little bit of that possessiveness, it's my baby, I raised it. Even though you have trust in these other strong women, what you shared that day was like, we can't just hold on. It's all about letting go. Even giving up your saris, letting go, even giving up your baby. This whole nonprofit is about a little bit of that letting go and also empowering the others and creating that vision that it's in good hands. So I want you to share that what you said that day was very much more, impactful when you shared your idea about how we can empower other women through this.
Thank you, Bhavna. Yes, that is indeed what we spoke about. I think we as women, I was talking to my husband the other day, and he was like, women are different than men, and we always think about equality. Equality is good. In certain areas, we want equality, but in certain areas, we have to appreciate the differences, right? We are talking about how it's harder for women to lose weight versus men. And he was talking about how women are nurturers and our bodies are made so that we can feed when the need arises, right? And therefore, we need to hold on to the fat, unlike men do it, all those kind of things. So it kind of led to that holding on to stuff, right? Women hold on to a lot of things, and we have a lot of difficulty in letting go, letting go of, hurt, letting go of our things, letting go of our ideas, letting go of our products. It could be anything. We just kind of hold on to it, and we hold it so tight, even though we're hurting and bleeding, we don't let go, right? And when we, as soon as we, make up our mind that letting go is going to allow that to grow and us to breathe, it's a completely different feeling, right? Even if it's your sari, it's like this, my beautiful sari, I just cannot let it go. But you cannot wear it. It's sitting in your closet forever and it's taking up the space. You need it, but you're not letting it go. But once you make up that decision to let it go, then you can breathe, right? You can breathe and you can make room in your life for other things that is just waiting for it to come. And then there's somebody else who can actually take and do something with it, right? And the more we see ourselves and other people doing it successfully, I think the less fear we will have in letting go, right? So I think we're all models to ourselves and others on the power of letting go.
Yeah.
Very well said. Very beautiful. I think many of us need to hear that every day. The
Yeah.
motto should be like, I'm letting go and giving it to the next person, and also empowering the other person to run with the new ideas. Might be very different than yours. Like you said earlier, Ranjani is very different than you. She has a very different leadership skills. So just having that trust, just like we do that with our children, we raise them and you think, okay, legacy. Maybe they have a different legacy. We just have to kind of vest into that whatever you do, you're in good hands. You are hands of this world. So that was just, when you said that the other day, I thought, okay, we need to have that on this
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah. Very powerful. It is absolutely very powerful. But again, even though with the letting it go, but also you accepted it and you are basically, it's you appreciating the new person taking over. That's also the bigger thing because sometimes, you let go of it and then you're looking at somebody, oh, yeah, but I was doing it this way, but this person is doing this way. Oh my God, this is not going to work. Like, we have that tendency.
Won't lie, Arti. It still happens. There's human. Okay, last time I checked, still human. So there are moments where I've been like, oh my goodness, and then I tell myself, sit down, Namita. You've picked the right person. Right things are happening. Breathe and let it happen. And there are a lot of people who come to me and say, hey, Namita, when you were here, this was happening. What do you like? People have such a hard time believing that I did it. Like, what happened? Why did you have to leave it? Like, I didn't have to. I
Yeah.
chose. What happened? So I say two things, right? When you give something to someone else to run with, right? One of two things will happen, right? One is that they'll pick it and run with it and do something phenomenal with it, right? That's amazing, right? That's amazing. The second thing is they might have the same failures you did, or they might fail in a different way, right? But when you really think about it, that failure is not really failure. That means after that happens, they will do it a different way the next time. And that different way may be what was needed to get us to where we need to go, right? It's not all bad. It's because what's the point in never doing something? This is something I tell my kids all the time. Now they know. As soon as something happens, they're like, I say, what do you have to do? They say, oh, we have to ask or we have to act. Because for everything that you don't ask, the answer is always a no. But if you ask, there's a 50% chance it's a yes. So ask. Same thing. If you do something, there's a 50% chance you'll be successful, right? But if you never act, then it's a 100% chance that it's not happening because you never did anything, right? So I'm really scared of people who warm seats and do nothing. I'd rather have someone be extremely disruptive and do all kinds of things, and something will stick. Something will be a learning experience. But if you sit there doing nothing, that's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree with it. Hey, I know how that's how it works. So you have to act on it.
Rita, what else is cooking in that brain now?
I was just about to ask that question.
My question.
I was gonna say, I said, is there anything else coming in the future since you passed this on?
Yes, yes, yes. A couple of things are coming, coming soon. And I think I'm with the right individuals here. And Arti, Vinoo, Bhawna, maybe you guys will provide me some guidance here. So my seat at the table, which I was talking about previously, right? What happened was I moved here. I was doing that expo there, and those expos in Chicagoland were working really good. I came here and I said, hey, I'm going to do a similar expo here. And right as I was planning it and we were getting a location in Dallas, COVID happened, right? So everybody was home and not doing anything. And then People's Impact Network was still happening, the saris and all that. And I'm a technology person too. So at the workplace, everywhere, people are already using Zoom and everything, right? So I've like learned about Zoom, and I got these small business women together. And I like to think, I don't know, until somebody proves me otherwise, I think I'm the first one. I created an online expo where I had 10 small business women, and they were all in breakout rooms with their tables set up as if it's a real store. And they had assistants there with pen and paper to write things down and all that. And I was in the what's the welcome, the intro room in Zoom. They used to have this, they have a room where you first come in before you're sent to the main room where you're sent. So I would sit there, and then people would come in. I'd chat with them. I'd say, hey, what do you feel like doing today? They're like, I want to buy an outfit. Then I'd say, okay, go to Venus store. And then I would send them, exchange with her. They'd come back into the main room. Then I say, where do you want to go next? And they'll be like, oh, I think I want to buy, some work. And then I'll say, hey, go to this art room, right? So I did that. And then small businesses were able to come back and make some business at that time when everything had shut down for them. And then right after that, everybody learned Facebook Lives, and then everybody was doing Facebook Lives. But this was before that, right? When the pandemic first kind of shut everything down. So I think that was good. And I'm thinking now that, again, like I mentioned at the way beginning, whatever I can do alone, I want to do it with a friend. Whatever I can do with one person, I want to do with multiple people. And with that, I think about economies of scale, right? Now, my mother, who's 72 years old, has moved in with me after my dad passed away a couple of years ago. She lives with me now, and she's been a homemaker all her life. But ever since I was little, we always had these business ideas. We'd say, oh, let's do a purse business, and let's do a sari business, and let's do like we would actually flesh out the entire business idea. Nothing ever came to fruition. And she's 72 years old. And I said, you know what? Now is the time. You're going to start your business. It's never too late. So we launched this thing called Paddy's Kitchen. Her name is Padmaja. She goes by Paddy. So we launched this Paddy's Kitchen. I'm Konkani in origin, so it's a very specific cuisine. You don't kind of find that food anywhere. So she started cooking. It's like a small home based thing. Few people come. It's like a tiffin service. I might go and make it bigger and make Paddy sauces, and big dreams of getting it on the shelves of Costco and Sam's Club someday. So all of those things I'm envisioning for her as Paddy's Kitchen and Paddy's sauces. But where I bring it back to what's the idea for everyone is economies of scale, right? So what I learned through making these grocery runs is my Patel Brothers is 5 minutes from here. So every evening she cooks. Every evening I cut vegetables, all that. Next morning she cooks fresh. People come and pick it up and go, right? Fresh food every single day. So I go to Patel Brothers and I'm paying retail prices for Tindora and this thing. And one day it's 6.99, one day is 1.99, right? I'm paying retail prices. Now I'm thinking, if we could get all the home-based business women together, and we come as together as one unit, and we negotiate a deal with the Patel brothers and the India Bazaar and all of that, saying, hey, we are going to be part of this collective, and therefore you're going to give us this price, right? So economies of scale. Then we could do things like standardization, right? Now my roti is $2.50. Vinoo's roti is $3. Bhawna's roti is $4. The buyer is saying, why am I buying $4 roti from her and $3 roti from her? This is thin and this is thick. So if we can standardize as home-based business, our quality, our prices, our marketing techniques, because there is room for everyone, right? I think you'll remember this other comment I made to you. I think collaboration over competition, right? Don't have to compete with each other. We can collaborate to do bigger, better things. So the next home-based business woman next door is not my competition. She's my collaborator. So together we make magic happen. So that's the next plan in this brain.
Collaboration. Yes, yes, very true.
Because, that I feel like that's one of the things you said really well is collaboration and not competition. Because a lot of things, even as a realtor, I can tell you that, a lot of agents would think like, oh my God, she's my competition. No, there's abundance. And there might be things that you do that I don't do, or I do that you don't do. Or even forget about doing it, even if we are both doing the same things, we might not be able to handle that many amount of clients together, or we might have something coming up and we're busy, or there might be some other reason we need somebody to give it that information, give the referral. Hey, you know what? I can't help this client, but here it is because
There's
we have
always enough to
collaborated.
go around. Yeah. Always enough to go around.
I never have looked any other realtor as a competition for me, or even as a business coach. I always learn things from other coaches. I always appreciate what they do because there's abundance in the universe, and you need to learn to connect with other people and also, appreciate what other person is also doing, because it doesn't matter if you're doing the same business. It's how you do it. You are your own brand. You are what you are. That can never change.
So, Arti, I think then you love this one. I should have said it when you said you're a realtor. So, this is another thing I did in Chicago. I want to do that again here. Looking for, because Desis are always looking for things. For I'm a Desi looking for this. I'm a Desi looking for that. So, Desi looking for is the name of the page. So, out there, I did something called find my realtor, because I have a lot of realtor friends, all of them very near and dear to me, and I can see that there is a match. Okay, it's a matchmaking service, just like weddings and friendships and all that are match. A realtor is a real match, because some person has a certain personality type that matches this realtor's personality type. Maybe somebody is good at staging and that's important to you. Maybe somebody gives you cash back, maybe that's important to you. Maybe somebody leaves you alone, that's important to you. Maybe somebody gives you a lot of feedback about every house you see. Maybe that's important to you, right? So each person has a need and each realtor has a strength. And I asked the realtors, give me three of your strengths. If you could describe three main things that represents you, what is it, right? And then I did a profile on each of the realtors saying, these are the top three things for the realtor. So I would recommend Aarti in a heartbeat because she's my friend and I know she's a great realtor. But why? Right? I can say, I'm recommending Aarti if you're looking for this. And if you're looking for that, then Vinoo's your person. And if you're looking for this, Bhavna's your person. So that way everyone wins and people are happy with that connection. So find my realtor. So maybe we'll kick that back up and create a find my realtor platform.
Hey,
That's
Desi
a good
looking
one.
for.
That's a good one.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, Desi is always looking for something. You're right.
Very true.
I am looking for nanny. I'm looking for home. I'm looking for a cooking food at home.
Type, right? I'm a Desi looking for.
Yes. Yes. And the amazing thing is that very recently, I myself was on a chat asking, "Hey, where can I donate my Indian clothes?" I'm telling you,
On and say,
I'm telling you, I'm a Desi looking for. But yeah, no, it is so good to know that these clothes, instead of just being stuffed in a bag or a closet in the corner that you're never ever gonna wear, is gonna get used by somebody, and it's always gonna that it can be used for a good cause.
and we know to your point and to people like yourselves who have small businesses or large businesses selling ethnic clothing, there is value in that too. I spoke to this a big designer person in New Jersey. He does all kind of weddings and stuff, and we were talking about it. Of the many things that are all floating in the universe hasn't come to like a nice bow, is where, think about like Nike and other stores, right? When you go into shop, they have a bin where you can collect the old shoes because they'll make sure the shoes goes to a good place, right? And then you can buy. Maybe all business women can have the ability to become a collection point for donation,
Yes.
because if
Yes.
someone's coming and spending $400 and buying this really fancy ghagra from you, they want that space in that closet so it's not rubbing against all the other hangers and all the the little things are coming off. So they need to get rid of those two things beside it to make space. Where do they go with it? Give it to you, and then you sell them the new stuff, and
Yes.
it's all in one place. I mean, magic. That's again, collaboration over competition.
Correct.
When a
Correct.
lot of these small peer-to-peer selling stuff popped up using the same idea, a lot of my well-wishers said, "Oh, Namita, they're using your idea and they're doing this. Look at this. They're doing this. Look at this. They're doing that." Because we tend to feel that competition. And I said, "No, it's not competition." And Aarti, like you said, there is so much need and so much space for success in this world. There are so many people, so many things you can do. We can never run out. We can never run out. Even if we all keep doing everything we'll still have room for people. So there is no need to get worried. There's no need for me to run after Vinoo's business or Arti's business. I do my thing really well. It's all going to be good.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we can actually learn from each other. That's how I see it. Because if I see somebody's doing the same thing as I'm doing, I always tend to figure out how are they doing differently? What is that I can learn from them? Because that's one of the things that pops up in my head immediately. I'm like, okay, how are they doing it? What can I learn from them? Because, it's always good to appreciate other businesses and learn how they built it up, how they are doing. And that comes another question for me. I mean, for you is that what's one piece of advice you would give to any women who wanted to start something but always have felt overwhelmed? Because I mean, you come up with ideas and you run with it. So what is the advice that you would like to give to a woman?
Um, so very good question. My very limited time podcast that I was doing called Namitha Unlimited. This was one of the things I spoke about, right? People are like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Right. So, like I was at this One Earth, One Chance is a nonprofit in Dallas area. They plant trees, and they had this Chinese proverb that kind of jumped out at me, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now,
Now,
right? I can extrapolate that same thing to your question, right? What is the best time for you to do something, right? It's right now, because that's the only time we actually have. Because we don't know. The past is gone. We have no control over it. We've learned from it. Hopefully, we've learned from it. The future, we don't know. I mean, if we keep waiting, we don't know what's going to happen. So, the best time is right now. So, if you want to do something, do it now.
Yeah.
Then it comes with this additional thing that I add, especially for women and especially for Desi women, is ask for help. Ask for help verbally.
yes.
Don't sit there doing this women thing where you're thinking, my best friend should have promoted my business. My husband should have taken care of the kid when I was trying to do this. My kid could have gotten his own food microwaved and should not have asked me. We think all these things in our head and put all these pressures on the people around us. They don't know what they don't know. So ask for help. Ask your spouse. Tell your spouse, hey, I'm trying to do this. I need these many hours, or I need you to fund me this one. Go to a bank or something and ask for a loan. Tell your best friend, I don't know if you like this food or not, but please try it and tell other people about it that maybe they'll like it, right? Tell someone, hey, like my post on Facebook and share it. Tell your child, you know what? Once you come back from school, you can take off your shoes, put it aside. Your food is there, warm it up and eat it. I'm going to finish. Like, verbalize these things that are in our head so that we give other people an opportunity to support us in a way that we want to be supported,
Yeah.
right? Those are my two suggestions for anyone. Be
I
and ask for help.
I am a prime example of that. I actually, before starting this, before even registering my LLC, I think put in quite a few months because I was researching, I was watching videos, I was on YouTube and how to do this and how to do that. And every time I saw something, someone speaking about it, they said, just start. That's it. Just get started. Don't waste too much time in thinking. But I still kept watching more videos and I was so nervous and so scared that what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? And just like I had heard from all the videos, once I started, I am learning. I'm learning. Every time I do something new, I'm teaching myself. So I completely 100% agree that getting started, your right time is now.
Now.
Yeah,
Yes.
and to add to what we would do next with that, I would say two things, right? Just like I mentioned earlier, that when I started the nonprofit, I knew what success would look like when I would step back. I also do the same thing for when I would call it quits, right? It's okay to call something quits. It's okay to fail because they're not failures, they're learning experiences. I'm telling you about, these few things that I did that, look like it's phenomenal. There are a lot of other small ideas. I created a weight loss group. Nothing happened. I'm still heavyweight, and other people are still very heavyweight. There are so many other things I did that didn't work out. at that time and that place, but I learned something from it, and here I am today. So it's okay, but you should know when to what is the marker for you that I'm going to move forward, I'm going to transition, or I'm going to move back, right? You need to know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should go to Costco now and look for the sauce.
This right, Bhavna, it's coming. Okay, it's coming very soon. We'll probably go to some Shark Tank or something and get some money. Or Arti can business coach me into doing this right, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you already do a very phenomenal job in getting getting started. So I think you're already on a very right track.
Yeah. But even though that's the case, she still asked for help.
Yes.
But what you just said, never shy away from asking for help. I
Yes.
mean, it's just sometimes the confidence or even that what we call in our psychology world like imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Right. And we are just sitting with that and not asking for help. But yeah, just go out there and make things happen. And even if it doesn't work, like you said, if it fails, it's okay. There's always the next one.
Yep. That's for sure. Thank you so much, Namitha. This has been so wonderful. Thank you for joining us and sharing your heart, your story, and your unstoppable drive, your energy. It's amazing. You've reminded us that the passion and purpose can go hand in hand, and that creating community impact is something we all can do, no matter where we are in life and which place we are at, whether you are in Chicago or Texas or it doesn't matter. It's just about starting something that really makes a difference in the world. And to all our listeners, I hope this conversation lit a spark in you and to start your own movement, support your community, or just take that first bold step. So don't forget to check out Namita Unlimited on on Spotify once she starts back on it, right?
Yeah, meantime, Facebook. Facebook has it here and there.
And Facebook, yes, we'll put all the information about Namita and her organizations in the podcast description. So do check that out. And we'll be back again next week with another inspiring voice. Until then, stay bold, stay brilliant, stay Desi, and be kind to yourself and to others. Thank you.
Thank you.